What's up, Yins, guys? This week on Car Dad Bill, we have a 2025 Ram 1500 Crew Cab Limited 4x4, and this has the 3-liter Hurricane Straight 6 Turbo with lots of power. It's also got the multifunctional tailgate in the back. Limited edition means it has tons of gingerbread everywhere in this vehicle. Let's go for a ride. All right, guys. So the first impressions of the Ram 1500 with the Hurricane motor in it are this. It's a limited edition crew cab, so it's gigantic. It is huge inside, huge bed in the back. It's just a very long truck, and it's a very big truck. And there's a lot of people out there that want that. And I might not be one of those people, but I do want a crew cab. I need a crew cab for my family and for what I need to do with a truck. The Ram limited edition one, especially the trim, has so much stuff in it. And I have to say, over the years, Ram makes the most comfortable, luxurious pickup truck you can buy. Of course, Ford and Toyota have top end, platinum models of their trucks that are also just as luxurious, but this one just feels more luxurious, if that makes any sense. Lots of different materials, as we'll go over in the interior, and just lots of like accents and different things that just add to that overall package that you get with the Dodge or with the Ram. So yes, the first impressions are opulent, luxurious, over the top, all that stuff that you would think. Let's get to the review. Hey, Yins, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. It helps. It brings more cars. It's obviously more viewers, and I just appreciate it. All right, Yins, standing outside the 1500 SST high output 1500 Ram Limited, and it's a beautiful truck, right? Look at those LED running lights with the turn signals that have the LED headlights inside there, the high beams inside there, and then you have that gradual cadence going back and forth for your turn signals. LED fogs on the bottom, the beautiful limited grille up front, flat front grille, 20-inch wheels on the side all the way around, but they don't look that big on this truck. They look perfectly sized for the limited trim. Big mirrors up front here with the nice turn signal inside, with the Ram actually in there. If you can see it, it's like actually inside the mirror. Limited trim on the side there. When you open the door, the running boards pop down to give you some extra help getting in. And they pop back up when you close the door. Out back, we have a power window back there. We also have cameras for the mirror, and I'll show you that when we're inside. I really like these LED tail lights. I like how you can see them from the side like this. I love the ribbon all the way around. These light up really nicely, as different from previous designs. And then I like the look of it down here like this. Really clean, really bright. Dual exhaust coming out the back. We have this little step that can come down to help you get into the bed. We have the multi-function tailgate. We have the regular function tailgate, and then we have the multi-function tailgate, which opens 60/40. So if you had a trailer on here, you could actually open it with the trailer still attached. So you have the two sides, and it really makes it nice for hockey bags and things like that. And I left Willie's in there so you can see it. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But going around the back, huge, huge sign out back, logo out back. But just an overall really nice looking, clean design truck. Let's get inside and take a look. All right, Yins, sitting inside this incredibly luxurious pickup truck. Digital display up front here. Huge screen, enormous screen. There's also a passenger screen on this side that's only viewable from the passenger side. Isn't that sweet how that works? The materials are luxurious, top notch. The fit and finish is unbelievable. It's just clean, and you have your rotary style gear selector up here, so it gets away from this corner, or gets away from the actual like center console. You have all your charging capability down there, wireless charging here. This slides back and forth, so you have even more space down below. You have your cup holders, which you can hide. You have another storage area back here that's hidden. You have all kinds of storage in here. You have storage underneath, more storage, storage back here, storage on the sides, storage at the bottom of the doors, and look at the door storage. It's all the way deep up front, deep out back, with your cup holder in the middle. And this cup holder in the middle, look at that. Super soft. It hugs your bottle. You have more storage there, your handle. And just the overall design and execution of the different materials. You have your leather here, you have your wood grain here, you have your polished aluminum through there. It's just beautiful. The piping, the steering wheel, the way it's fit and finish, it all works well. I love this like dark chrome kind of looking icon there, logo. This watches you while you're driving, and the cruise control, which it has the self-driving cruise control hands-free, which is pretty neat. I did use that a couple times. This screen, though, however, you can put all kinds of stuff. I usually leave the map up. You can change it to whatever you want. You can have all kinds of stuff. Like, that was the way it came. So it's kind of like a traditional look to it. But I like having the map in the background, like this. That's pretty cool. Over here, you have the home screen. And if you put your CarPlay on here, CarPlay will stay up on the screen. If you're in the stereo, it'll pop up. It'll bring the stereo up. Go back to home, and it brings up all this stuff. And I kind of like that feature of it. Navigation obviously makes the navigation screen enormous. Back to the home screen, and then you have your comfort controls. And you can see how quickly back and forth the screen works pretty well. But this screen is super duper bright as well. So at nighttime, you have this button, you can turn it off and drive down the road and not have that huge screen being a problem, which it kind of is at nighttime. Down here are all your trailer significant buttons, for your steering, for the gain, your parking assist, and then your ride height is also there. There are no dedicated HVAC controls down here. All those HVAC controls are actually on the side. So both sides have your dedicated HVAC buttons with your fan, the temperature, the mode, all that stuff. Then you have your AC and your recirculation and all that. So it's still there. You still have the top bar, which shows you what the temperature is and all that. Heated steering wheel. You have more storage up there. Shocking with a charging port. Your button start and stop is right there. All your four-wheel drive controls are down below the gear selector with your auto hold, your start and stop off. Lights are on this side. Your headlights are on auto. You have your parking brake down here and your pedal selection down there as well to move the pedals back and forth. But it's just an amazing place to spend time. There's so much stuff going on in here. It does actually take a minute to figure it all out. But let's jump in the back seat and see how big that is. All right, guys, getting into the back. And one notable thing, the door opens almost to 90 degrees, allowing for a lot easier ingress and egress. The door is still designed really well. The piping on the leather, stitched leather, your wood grain, the gray chrome door handles, storage. Down here, we have limited mats, and they're clean looking limited mats. You lift this up, and now you have your stow and go container which is huge. You can fit all kinds of stuff in there. Click that down, put your mats back down. The seats also have a control on the side here. You squeeze that and you can lift the seat all the way up and have more storage underneath, and also have huge space, you know, with that seat up. Seat down, you have huge leg room. Look at all of this stuff down here. Charging capabilities, plugs for, you know, entertainment systems, both sets of USBs, A and B, heated seats, cooled seats, your HVAC vents right there. All this stuff, cup holders. You do not have static seatbelts though. They're floppy seatbelts, although my kids are now old enough that they're able to do that, you know, without any problem. And then here, this pops down to give you a really luxurious and nice armrest for stuff. You can still put stuff in there. And then you have your cup holders for whatever you need, your cups and your drinks for whenever the kids have food back here, which I would not have a ton of food back here because of how expensive this truck is, and we'll go over that in a second. But while this is down real quick, there's actually something here that you can hook on to things in case you want to hook stuff up there while you're driving down the road. That window's power. There's an electric mirror or a screen mirror up there. Let's look at that real quick. A lot of companies do this now, but you have your regular mirror that you can see yourself in, and then you flip this up and it gives you a look of what's behind you, which to me it's just the woods, but shows you what's behind you. I like that feature a lot. All right, guys, the tailgate. And there's so many different types of tailgates now. Ones that have cutouts on top and seats and benches and tables and all this and that. This is a multi-functional one. So you have the regular function of a regular tailgate. You can still get into the tailgate, into the area back here. You have your clips for your Mopar tonneau cover up here. But and you have lights in here, which is really nice at nighttime. It helps a lot to see what's inside the tailgate. It's inside the bed of the truck. Tailgate has your normal stuff as it's flat. So you can sit on this. You can do whatever. You still have to lift it up. This one does not have the automatic tailgate. So you still have to lift it up and close it. But now, if you go to the bottom part of that button, so I just did the top part. If you go to the bottom part and open, now you have a 60/40 opening, which makes loading things into the bed of the truck that much easier. Hockey equipment, construction equipment, sports equipment, golf clubs, whatever, you can now get all the way up against the trunk, all the way up against the bumper of the truck bed, and be able to put things in there. And then this side opens as well. So now you have an opening that's this way. And I like that, not having the tailgate in the way. I feel like that's a huge design improvement for trucks in general. Let's get out on the road and let's talk about some of the cool features about this truck. All right, guys, before we get out on the road, we have to go over our numbers and our features and our specs. And Ram gave me I keep calling it Dodge Ram. It's just force of habit, guys. Ram gave me a like Monroney kind of thing that has all the stats, all the figures on it, so we can go over that stuff. 2025 Ram 1500 Crew Limited 4x4. This has the 3-liter straight 6 turbo, high output, 540 horsepower, 521 pound-feet of torque. 540, 521. Those are great numbers, unbelievable numbers. You're not going to need a whole lot more than that. And then even with this heavy of a vehicle, this size vehicle, it still just throws it down the road, effortless, and it's kind of quiet. It has a little bit of a rumble in it. It has a little bit of a rumble when you're driving, has a little bit of a rumble when you're backing up and doing stuff like that. But once you're out there cruising around, it sounds great. It's subtle, and it hums down the road. It's got an 8-speed automatic transmission, 20-inch wheels, multifunction tailgate, the tow package, the bed utility package. So that brings the bottom line of this one as tested, the limited with the tailgate and all that stuff, to $86,840. I'm sorry, folks. That's really expensive. Granted, you're getting hands-free highway driving. You're getting the Harman Kardon sound system. You're getting all these touch screens. You're getting the passenger screen. You're getting the multifunction tailgate, the crew cab design, all the leather treatments, heated steering wheel, cooled seats, massaging seats. $86,000 for a pickup truck. I mean, my opinion is it's too expensive, but there's people out there that want this kind of truck, so here it is for you. The CDB Real MPG is 18 miles per gallon. I don't know if that's bad. I know it's not great, but I don't know if it's bad for something this big with something this much horsepower. It's just the way it is, and I feel like it's not a terrible rating. So let's get out on the road. There's only a few things good and bad that I want to run over with you real quick. You guys get the gist mostly. Let's get out on the road. All right, guys, out on the road, driving the 1500, and it just reminds you of how luxurious a pickup truck can be. And that's okay. Like, I love all vehicles. I'm a car dad, and I'm a car guy in general. So, like, you throw me in a Chevy Malibu, you throw me in a Honda Accord, you throw me in a Ram 1500 Limited, I'll be able to put myself in all of those different positions and like or dislike the vehicle based on the vehicle that's there. So I'm driving around in this 1500 for a week, this limited edition 1500, and it is plush, and it is supple, and it is fun to drive. And the best part about it in my mind is how this suspension takes the bumps. You can run this thing over railroad tracks at 40 miles an hour. You can run this thing down the highway and hit them big bumps going over top of bridges and things, and it just absorbs everything. You can change elevation off of a road to another road where there's like a dip, and this thing crushes it. It's hit every single bump that I've thrown in front of it this week really, really, really well and composed and quiet. So, like, that's the thing that stands out the most to me, to be honest with you. Well, let's get to the good and bad list really quick. Let's start with the bad, because we're always going to start with the bad, I think, because we want to finish off these reviews on a positive note, typically. But on the bad side of things, and when I say bad side, I don't mean that there's anything wrong with this truck. I mean, what can really be wrong with an $86,000 pickup truck? Not a whole lot, because you got everything you could probably get in it. But let's kind of needle it down a little bit and be picky about some things. First thing is the amount of gingerbread in this vehicle, and I kind of went over that already. It's just loaded to the gills with stuff, and you're just like, it's going to take me a week just to figure out everything it can do. Granted, that's fine. If this is your truck and you're living with this every day, God bless you. Figure out how to use it, though. There's a lot of stuff in here. Figure out what you're doing and how it all works. Number two, the screen is so bright and distracting. Even at dusk, especially at nighttime, I turn it off. It's just too much. It's too bright, and I can't deal with that when I'm driving. It's it's very distracting, and you just need to turn it off. So there is a button to turn it off, and that's a good thing. Next thing on my list, numb throttle. And what I mean by a numb throttle is when you stab the throttle in reverse or you stab it to pull out into traffic, it doesn't react right away. It takes a second to react, and it fumbles a little bit, and it's kind of numb in my respect. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's just something you have to get used to over time, but it's numb nonetheless, and it stood out, and it made me wonder a few different times, so I wanted to bring it up in the review. Final thing on my list for the bad is the small turning radius, and it just does. I think a truck of this length and this size lends itself to that downfall overall. But it's not a game changer. Excuse me, it's not a game changer, but it just is something you have to you look out for when you're doing stuff like this. Good list. Moving into the good list, and the good list is pretty short as well. Comfort, fit, and finish, the 500 plus horsepower Hurricane engine, and the suspension. It's kind of like the stuff that I mentioned before. The comfort, luxurious feel, and the fit and finish of this truck overall is really the best part about it. I love the interior. I love how clean it is. I love all the different materials that are used. I love how it looks. I love how it feels. It's easy to live with for the week, obviously, and it's just a well-made pickup truck. I mean, they make these things, and they really, really are well-made overall. The materials are top-notch. The 500 plus horsepower Hurricane motor. Let's just say, when you think about trucks like this, and you think about V8s and 5-liter, 5.7-liter, 6-liter V8s, you know it's going to have horsepower. You know it's going to have power. When you see a 3-liter straight 6 turbo, you see the horsepower number of 540 horsepower, you automatically think, well, that's a lot. That's a lot. But when you get out on the road and you actually step on the throttle and you actually feel that horsepower, at your fingertips, it is something to behold. There's no lack by any means. It is solid. The suspension, I can't say it enough. Really well tuned. There's a solid axle back there in the rear suspension. You have the 4-wheel drive and you can lock it. Um, it's going to be really well suited for towing and hauling and pulling things and snow and all that stuff. It's going to work out really well for that. But just the everyday driving of it on these bumpy roads and on brick roads and on uneven terrain and going over curbs and train tracks and stuff like that, where we live in Western PA, there's a lot of those different terrain shifts. And it's noticeable in a lot of vehicles, if they can or can't handle that stuff. And most new cars can handle most of that stuff. But this truck definitely stood out a little bit as just how stable it was over top of uneven terrain. And that's really kind of all I can say about it. It's just noticeably good at it. So it's worth mentioning. That's Car Dad Bill this week. Real cars for real people for real life. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.